What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the scorecard, the boxing scorecard, where I ask people to bring your scorecard and an explanation, not just simply your opinion. So here we go. Last night we had a big WBC World Super Featherweight Title Championship versus one familiar face and one kind of unknown. My man Rey Vargas went up against Oshaki Foster. Yes, thank you for the picks. My man Oshaki Foster, and obviously you guys know I watch boxing every single day, whether it's research or just watching random fights. I never heard of Oshaki Foster before, but he definitely impressed me last night. Full name Oshaki Dominique Williams Foster from Houston, Texas. Orthodox, trains out of, he's from Houston and he also trains out of he's from Texas and also trains out of Texas. He has a record of 20 wins, only 2 losses with 11 KOs, 50% knockout ratio. His nickname is Ice Water. Oshaki Ice Water Foster. Um, as far as his record, he's kind of an unknown. He's beat some guys, but mainly like B and C level competition. The most familiar name that I see on his box rec is Miguel Roman. That was for the WBC silver featherweight title. He won by knockout there, and that's the only like familiar name that I see on his record. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Before this fight, he was on he was on a 9 fight winning streak. 9 fight winning streak. So that's how he earned himself. Most of them were unanimous decisions or KOs. Yeah, KOs or unanimous decisions. So he's been on a quiet run the past couple of years. This 10 years, I mean, this 9 fight winning streak started back in 2017. So he hasn't lost since 2017. That's why he was fighting with so much confidence. That's why he was fighting with so much confidence. My man Rey Vargas. Let's get to his box rec. My man Giovanni Vargas Roldan from Mexico. Otumba, Mexico, Mexico. Yeah. His record is 36 wins with only 1 loss. Yesterday was his first loss. 36 wins with 22 knockouts, which is basically a 60% knockout ratio. Um, Now, the only thing with Mr. Vargas is as impressive as his record is, and yeah, his nickname is no nickname. Um, Mark Ray definitely has some impressive wins on his resume, including guys like Mark Maxeo, um, Oscar Negrete, Ronnie Rios. Yeah, man, he's beat some good names on his list. However, these names were all at the weight class under. Like all of Vargas's success has been at the featherweight division, which is 126 pounds. Last night was his first fight at the step up at 100 in the super featherweight division, which is 130 pounds. Foster, that's where he's been his whole career, was at 130. Now, to some people, you might not think 4 pounds is a big difference, but it is a very big difference, especially when you're cutting weight on how you feel and how much energy you can have output you could you could put into your fight. When you're at your lowest weight class, and that's the thing that I'll start with Mister with Vargas first, because even though he was the favorite going in, it is a big difference when you're. The thing is, when you're moving up in weight classes, two things have to be intact or going. You have two things you have to have going for you if you're moving up in weight class. Either you have to have exceptional power, like your power has to move up with you, because remember, you're fighting bigger guys now. So you better have the power to keep those bigger guys off you. Or if your power doesn't move up, then your skill level better be at that level. Your skill level needs to be up there. So either when you move up in weight class, once again, it's either your power moves up with you or your skills moves up with you. In rare cases, you get people like Manny Pacquiao whose speed and power moved up with him in 8 divisions. Anyways, Mr. Vargas, I believe that was his main problem Are we back? Are we back? How's my sound? Is my sound better? Does it sound better? Someone let me know. Someone let me know. Back. Yes, it's good. Okay, good. All right, so like I said, man, I'm curious to see what other people had the scorecards were, because mine, maybe I wasn't influenced. I had the volume off. I had the volume off when I was watching this fight. So, I wasn't influenced by the commentators or anything like that. So those were really my own thoughts. Um, like I said, I'm using my phone to do the show right now. I forgot that my scorecard's on the phone, so I can't really get to it, or else it's gonna kick me out of this again. But I do know I had a draw. Right from the beginning, both guys were establishing very good jabs. Um, One of the things that I think messed up Mr. Vargas in moving, not only did he move up weight class and fight someone that is used to being at that weight class, but the height difference, but the same reach. Rey Vargas is 5'10". Foster is only 5'6". However, they have the exact same arm length reach. Both I think had like 71 inches. So for the taller person, it kind of messes with your mental, just because that depth perception is off. As a taller person, you're expecting, especially if you have a good jab, you're expecting to be at a certain distance, and you be able to touch your opponent with a jab, and they can't really touch you back. But especially in those first couple of rounds, Oshaki Foster they were matching jab for jab in those first 2 rounds there. So that was one of the things that I thought kind of surprised Mr. Vargas. I don't think he was expecting Oshaki's jab to be that good, that accurate, that educated, to throw him off. And again, it was just the good back and forth. What else we got here? The good back and forth between them. Really, there was no in the first 2 rounds. Foster landed a couple of good straight right hands that were pretty clean, but throughout the fight, there was not really any big significant punches landed. A couple of flurries here and there, but there was no specific punch that made you say, "Oh yeah, wow, that punch made it a clear round for either Vargas or Foster." I think Foster was just simply slightly outworking Vargas in when they were mixing it up a little bit. Ring control. That's one of the things that you gotta judge for too. Simply ring control. Who just looks like they're in charge? Like sometimes you can just look at a fight and see who is the one engaging, who's the one starting the combinations and finishing the combinations, or at least trying to do it. And in this case, it was Mr. Foster doing his thing, man. So much respect to him. This fight, this was a big win for him, for Mr. Foster. Put him on the map. He has a belt now, the WBC belt, and things are going to shift up. Things are going to shift in these weight divisions now. I'm just pulling up the rankings for the featherweight division and for the super featherweight division. Just waiting for the laptop to load up here. So the big question is Mr. Vargas gonna continue at 130 pounds, or is he gonna go back down to 126? How old is Mr. Vargas? Let us check this out, because that could make a big difference on how easy or how hard it is for you to make weight. He's 32 years old. Yeah. That's between the ages of 28 to 32 is when most boxers kind of are forced to move up in weight classes, just because you're naturally getting bigger, right? There's very few boxers that could maintain the same weight that they did when they started boxing, because most people start boxing when they're in their early 20s. And again, just by living natural life, you'll gain a little bit of weight when you're in your late 20s to early 30s. So I'm thinking that Mr. Vargas is gonna stay at 130 pounds. But he already had a good jab to begin with, but he better get even more educated as far as using it more to set up other punches to keep these bigger guys off of him. Again, it's only 4 pounds from 126 to 130, but the punch resistance from the guys that are naturally at the higher weight class, they can take those punches just a little bit more than the guys that are in the lower weight class, obviously, because they have more weight to them. So that is the slight problem that Mr. Vargas is going to have. I would highly suggest for him to maintain the good jab that he already has, but to maybe sit down on his punches a little bit more, to have sit down, use his legs, turn your hips, pivot your foot, just to put a little bit more emphasis on the power of those punches to keep these bigger guys off of you. What is next for Rey Vargas? So let's go to the rankings again. So if he stays at 130 pounds, which is super featherweight, junior lightweight, not a big pool actually. Now that I'm looking at the names, so yeah, not a big pool. You got Eduardo Fernandez, Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez would be a good comeback fight for Rey Vargas. Valdez is the one that had that close fight. No, sorry. It was on paper, it was supposed to be a close fight with Shakur Stevenson last April. And I believe that was a little bit off topic. As far as fight of the year, when people talk about fight of the year, they usually talk about two guys that are just punching the crap at each other. There's probably about 4 or 5 knockdowns. Defense is really bad. And just punches, just a bunch of punches thrown and landed with bad defense. That's usually a fight of the year for most people. I put a little twist to it. For me specifically, when I talk about fight of the year, I specifically talking about skills fight of the year. What I mean is a fight that on paper was supposed to be an even matchup, but when the fight happens, one person their skills just straight dominate the other person. That for me is a fight of the year. Skills fight of the year. So that Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson at the time was advertised as a great fight because it was between two great boxers. But when the fight happened, Shakur Stevenson just showed his superior skills and made Valdez look like a B level competitor. But with that being said, Valdez is still good. If Shakur just made him look like a regular boxer. So Rey Vargas versus Oscar Valdez would be a good fight for both of them because both of them are going to need a win to get back in that, in the win column. So both guys would be, focused on that one. You also got Lamont Roach, who is a very good B-level competitor. All the rest of these guys are basically B-level competition, man. Joe Cordina, Pablo Vincente, Roger Gutierrez, Eduardo Hernandez. Yeah. All these guys are B-level competition. So Rey, he doesn't have too many sharks to worry about at 130 pounds. So he could probably stay up there and work his way back up to another title fight and a couple of fights. He deserved it, man. He's had some good wins on his career. Last night was his first loss, so he shouldn't fall too far down the ladder to get back up, is what I'm saying. Mr. Foster, Mr. Oshaki Icewater Foster. He is on top of the world right now. As far as the champions, they got to update this because he has the WCB belt. WBA belt is held by Hector Luis Garcia, who I'm pretty sure is the one that Gervonta Davis beat up in his last fight. And once again, to show you Gervonta Davis's power, that guy Hector Garcia said after the fight, he said when Davis hit me, when Tank hit me, he said I couldn't see and my head hurts. My head was hurting. He said after the fight, during an interview, he's like, I could see now, but my head still hurts. It just shows you how hard Tank hits. But yeah, Hector Luis Garcia has a WBA belt. IBF belt is held by Shavkat Rakimov. I don't know what's going on at WBF. They got nobody ranked in number 1 at number 2. I don't know what's going on there. WBO is a vacant belt. They got Archie Sharp as number 1, Oscar Valdez is number 2. So yeah, man, this 130 pound super featherweight division is pretty open for the taking right now. So Shaki Foster could keep his momentum going with defending his belts for a minute. You know, he has the skills. He beats. Again, this was even though it was someone coming up from in weight class for Mr. Foster. This was Oshaki's biggest win of his career against Rey Vargas. This was a very good win. Again, according to the judges, I had it a draw, but he won unanimous. So on to the next one for Mr. Foster. That would also be a one. I keep mentioning Oscar Valdez because he's the best name. Liam Wilson is all right too, but Oscar Valdez I think is the next best one. I already mentioned Pablo Vicente. Oh, Robson Conceição. Robson Conceição is 130 pounds. This was the guy that Shakur Stevenson beat in pretty sure it was his last fight, or either the last fight or the fight right before that. Robson Conceição from Brazil won a gold medal, I believe, in 2016 Olympics. Very good boxer. Even that fight, I don't think people give him enough credit for that fight with Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, Stevenson won most of the rounds, but they were all close rounds. There was no in that fight. There was no round that was that was where Robson almost got stopped or he looked like he was in trouble. He was right in Shakur's face the whole time. So, a lot of these guys, as I mentioned before, a lot of these guys, they kind of fall through the cracks and people might not hear about them or see about them because they're either not fighting the top level guys, so their fights aren't really televised, or some of the top guys are from other countries that don't really speak English, so they don't really do a lot of interviews. So again, when you're scrolling through your social media looking for boxing stuff, you might these guys' names might kind of slip through the cracks because they don't really, even the guys that speak English, like Oshaki Foster, he's not a name that's really going to come up on your feed when you're scrolling through your social media. But obviously, he was under the radar, and he showed that when he got a chance on a big stage, main event on TV, he stepped up to the plate and looked very good in the biggest fight of his career. So shout out to Oshaki Foster. What else we got? It's quiet this morning, man. Where's all the scorecards at, man? Everybody's sleeping, everybody's watching, but not participating. My man Eddie Barrington, did you score the fight last night? Did you watch it at least? Let me know what you thought. What else we got? So that was really it for both competitors, man. The only slight improvement where I would give to both guys is maybe attacking the body a little bit more to slow the other person down or to create more openings. There was, like I said, throughout the 12 rounds, there wasn't too many clean crosses. They're both in an orthodox stance. There wasn't too many clean right hands that were landed. If they were landed, they were kind of slightly grazed or slightly blocked. Nobody got hurt. So I think going to the body will help create a few more openings up top. So that would be my only suggestion for both guys. But again, both guys at 130 pounds is pretty wide open now, man. There's a bunch of B-level competitors at 130 pounds. So, yeah, man, it is wide open. And I think that is it for now. What else did I want to bring up? Oh, you had some stats from the fight last night. Here we go here. Yeah, these are some interesting stats here. So as far as jabs, Vargas landed 12% of his jabs. Oshaki landed 17. So not a high percentage of both guys landing, but obviously 17 is higher than 12. Power punches. Oh, this was close too. Power punches was 29%. I'll give you the exact numbers. Let's go back to the jabs. So the jabs was 35 out of 299 for Vargas. It's only 12%. Foster's jabs percentage was 50, landed 57 out of 339, which is only 17%. Power punches, 66 out of 225 for Mr. Vargas. That's 30%. Mr. Foster was 87, landed out of 286, 30%. So another close percentage there. 30% to 29% to 30% for power punches loaded landed. And the last one was just total shots landed, just total shots landed in general. 101 out of 524 for Vargas, 19%. 144 out of 625, 23% for Foster. So again, all three of those numbers pretty close together. Like the largest difference was 5% with the jabs and total punches. So that's why for me, I had it a draw. Maybe the judges ringside saw a little bit different because they're right there, and maybe Foster's punches landed a little bit better when you see him up close. Maybe that was the thing, but yeah, I had it a draw. So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. The scorecard, the boxing scorecard. Gave you my scorecard and a explanation. So there you have it. Not sure. I always try to tell myself I'm going to be prepared to give a quick breakdown of the fight for next week. Anybody listening in the chat right now, can you let me know who's fighting next week exactly? I know in a couple weeks we got Benavidez and Plant. That is going to be great. It's always good when two guys that legit don't like each other in real life actually box. You know, sometimes at the press conference, you know, guys will be barking at each other, you know, mainly just to hype up the fight. But when you have two people that legit do not like each other in real life, that is definitely going to be a good fight just for that aspect alone. Let alone both these guys are in their prime at the top of their divisions. So yeah, I definitely can't wait for that one. But before that, I know there's another fights coming up in the next couple of weeks. Before that, off the top of my head, I cannot remember. But yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Holmes versus Valerio. Yep. Okay, that'll probably be the one for next week. Holmes versus Valerio, if that's the main event. Adele versus Beezus. Adelaide versus Beezus. Wood versus Lara. Yeah. Lee Wood versus Lara. That's going to be interesting too. Might get my man Carl and Andy from the last bell to make a little comment on that. Neri versus Hovanesian. Yeah, Neri versus Hovanesian. Yes, lots of fights coming up, man. Lots of scorecards to be talked about in the next couple of weeks. So yeah. Thank you very much for listening, paying attention. Once again, Talking Fight, the #1 boxing channel on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. My show, The Scorecard, usually every Sunday from starting at 9:30. Oh yeah, shout out to Team Ontario, all the amateur boxers that fought at the Nationals last weekend. That's why I missed the Scorecard last weekend. Was help coaching the top boxers in the province compete for national championships. So Ontario finished with 6 gold, 2 silver, and 10 bronze. Shout out to all the gold medal winners who will be competing, who already earned a spot at the Pan Am qualifiers in a couple of months. Got the World Championships also in a couple of months after that. So yeah, man, we got some. Canada has some good up and coming amateurs that'll be ready for pro in the next couple of years. Shout out to my man Hunter. Hope you get a speedy recovery from that freak accident in his fight. Shout out to Marie and Keo, my brother and sister combo national champions. And shout out to all the Ontario boxers that won their gold medals, man. A lot of hard work was put into that. So much respect to you guys. All right. I'm out. I'll see you guys next week. Hit me up on any social media at Cedric Sports. All right, man. Peace.